I had a client come and see me a couple of days ago, really suffering from poor ball striking, and he believed the reason for this was that he was getting very armsy in his swing, getting too stuck around the impact zone and having to conjure up something last minute to hit the golf ball. And he was right with this. However, when we tried to change things, when he tried to change things, we saw some good shots, but still some really poor golf shots. Still struggling to get the ball striking out the centre, the sweet spot that we're all looking to hit. And this is where I came in to say, well, you need to stop the actual cause. What's happening in your golf swing before that moment of impact that's causing you to do those movements? What's causing you to get that armsy swing? What's causing you to get stuck last minute? And once I explained this cause to him and provided him with a drill to help him improve the ball striking, we noticed huge improvements with the strike location. He was hitting way more golf shots out the sweet spot of the iron heads. So for those of you who are new to the channel, welcome. My name is Harry, PGA golf professional down here at the Golf Projects, transforming golfers worldwide. And feel free to drop a comment down below with tips or drills video topic you'd like me to cover in a future video. And if you do enjoy this video and take this on board, please do, as always, hit the subscribe button in the bottom right hand corner, as it helps me grow the channel and provide better, more quality content like this to help you improve your game. So the cause itself to what my student was doing, suffering with that armsy swing, getting too stuck at impact to hit those centre strikes more often, all lies with the club face itself. So what we noticed during the start of his golf swing was that he was severely opening up the club face, okay? So as he began his golf swing, when he was opening up the club face, what am I doing here to open up that club face? I'm rolling my wrists. If you look from a little bit closer here, the FootJoy logo now begins to face away from me, as opposed to pointing slightly more towards the golf ball. So when he was doing this here and rotating those wrists, causing that club head now to go very open, but also look, I'm getting very close to my body, I'm getting very much so on the inside to begin that golf swing. And this is exactly what the student was doing. And then when we get to the top of our swing doing this, getting this good amount of rotation that we're looking for, we get very lateral, very stuck, very close in this position here. Almost looks a little bit too rigid, open face here. So what do we do in reaction? Well, we can't physically go down, so we've got to go over and steep like this. So he was going inside, rolling the wrists, getting very flat, and then in reaction, using his more upper body to get this club working back down on some sort of on-plane swing. He was able to bring this back down on plane into this position here where the club reaches back to parallel to the ground. But look at where the club face is there. As I'm dragging the club this way, it's still open. So then from there we get stuck because we have to delay this body turn in order to get our hands involved and try and perfectly time that release. So from this position here, we're having to jump almost upwards, stop, get that body turning, stopping as well, and then having to try and square up the face. Now, that's very easy for me to do from this position here. But imagine swinging at 90 miles an hour with a 7-iron. Trying to time that release is way too difficult. No one can keep that consistency. Never mind hitting the sweet spot consistently either. We were noticing thin shots, duff shots, depending on the moment that he released, and a few shots as well out the toe and the heel of the club head. So in simple terms, we were getting too stuck on the inside, rolling the wrists, causing the club face to open inside, up to the top, then having to react to try and get this club back down, and then we're getting stuck because of this and having to jump out of our posture and then timing that arms and that release to take place to try and hit that ball with a fairly square club face. Now I want you to look at this very closely. I'm just going to come a bit closer to you so you can see this and then try and avoid that projector there. So I brought the club itself up to parallel to the ground, okay, and you can see there the club face is nice and square. If I wanted to physically really encourage that club face to open like this here, what do we think's going to make contact with that golf ball first? Okay, what's leading the race towards the golf ball? It's the hosel end. If we can control this club face position on the way back, not only is it going to stop us from swinging too far on the inside and then causing the rest of the swing to take place, this too far inside swing and then coming over the top, but it's also going to control that club face angle. We would much rather attack the ball from this angle here as opposed to this angle here. This here is the danger zone for us. This here is causing those hosel shots, the heel shots, and obviously because we're making a full swing, probably jump out of it, get the hands involved, so any other shot. Whereas if we get in the club face nice and controlled on the way back, swinging up to the top nice and neutral on a fairly neutral plane, then it's so much easier for us to turn down towards the ball and have that club face nice and square. But also, watch this here. If I've got the club face like this, for example, let's exaggerate this at address, and I swing back and two, look where it's pointing. The hosel's winning the race, right? But this time, when I swing back and forth, keeping that face square, look at that there. Dead nice and square club face, but it's also encouraging me to forward my hands a little bit more. So if we can focus on this takeaway move here and get that club face nice and square, everything else should take care of itself. So here's the drill in full flow. And this drill is going to involve 2 alignment sticks. And by the way, if you haven't got 2 alignment sticks, absolutely fine. You can get these from Golf Swing Systems website. In the description below, there's a discount code there for you to use as well, SURE5. Make sure you use that so you get 5% off on these. So the first alignment stick then, I'm just going to place the second one away from me for now. First alignment stick is going to be placed directly behind the golf ball, like this here, around a foot and a foot and a half, foot to a foot and a half away from the golf ball, pointing directly towards the target line. So, for example, if you're at the driving range doing this, you would have this aligned up fairly close to your mat and try and find a target out in the range that you can aim for when doing this. Or if you're in an indoor golf simulator like this, the golf projects, then just simply get that alignment stick aiming towards the target line here. And for the second alignment stick, you're going to take this one and you're going to place it on the lead side of your grip. So for example, if you're a right-handed player, you're going to place it on the left side of the grip like so. You can see I've not got a lot of the alignment stick on the left side. I've got the majority of the alignment stick hanging away from me. Okay, and the reason is when I take my grip now and get ready to set up to the golf ball, I'm going to ensure that this alignment stick is touching the lead side of the body like this here. So the idea of this when you come to set up is that when we roll the wrists and get this FootJoy logo pointing away from us to begin that golf swing, watch this here. The alignment stick that I'm holding on to here is moving away from the body, okay? And you can see the club head is opening and it's severely going on the inside in relation to this alignment stick that I've placed on the ground. You might struggle to see that, so this alignment stick here, we're going severely on the inside of that alignment stick there. So the idea with this is we want to be ensuring that as we begin that golf swing to position 1, which is just before the club reaches parallel to the ground, I'm going to show you that now, that the alignment stick is continuing to touch the lead side of the body. So I'm going to set up like this here. I'm going to take the club head back pretty much to the point of the end of the other alignment stick placed on the ground. Okay, so the 2 thoughts I've got here is taking that club head back, okay, along this alignment stick on the ground and keeping this alignment stick here that I'm holding on to touching the lead side of my body, so the left side of my body. For those of you who aren't quite used to doing this and maybe over-rotate to begin your golf swing, will feel like you're not having to rotate as much. It feels like you're not rotating anywhere near enough to take the club head back and begin that golf swing, and that's fine. It's just you getting used to this. You can see here, I've not got a lot of lower body turn to begin that first point in the golf swing, and that's because our main focus of this is ensuring we're controlling this club face, okay? So when I do this again now, watch what happens. The feeling's coming more from the upper body. Feels like for me, for my lead shoulder, okay, is taking that club head back to this position here. And for you, it might feel a little bit different. It might feel like the trail arm, the right arm, is taking the club head back. It might feel like both. It might feel like, and a few people have mentioned this as well, that the upper back muscles are actually doing a lot more work to take the club head back. But because we're keeping everything dead stable, no wrist movement taking place, where's the FootJoy logo pointing? It's pointing directly towards that golf ball. So when we set the club in this position here now, okay, club face will look a little bit short, but that's way more neutral than this position here. We'd much rather, like I mentioned before, we can attack the golf ball from this angle so much easier Because watch this, if we open up the club face, I'm just going to take the alignment stick away from here. When we open up the club face, okay, our aim, remember, is to always try and get the hands forward at impacts, right? So for an iron, if we open up that club face and then we promote what we call shaft lean, look what it does to the club face. It opens it up even more. So for those of you who are really suffering with that hosel strike, that's probably one of the reasons why. We're getting this open club face, starting the golf swing using the wrists, and then in the downswing, we're really trying to force those hands forward. Well, that's not going to do you any good, is it? No chance. So if we can get the takeaway into a square position on the way back, okay, square from this position here, ideally we want that leading edge. So this point here on the club head, pointing, well, it's going to be parallel. We want it to be parallel to our spine angle. So call it this position here, okay? I know it looks a little bit short, but you'll understand this as you go along with this video. And when I try and promote shaft lean now, look at that. It squares up the club face beautifully. It's going to be so much easier for us to get that club face working back towards the ball. It's square, hands are forward, improving that attack angle into the golf ball as well. So it's all going to make things so much easier for you. And at first it's going to feel weird. It's going to feel weird getting used to this, taking the alignment stick on the lead side of the grip, setting up, alignment stick is there, foot and a half away, pointing directly towards your target line, and we're just making a few moves, just taking the club head back along that alignment stick up until the point just before parallel to the ground. A good checkpoint of where to stop, I would say right at the end of that alignment stick placed in the ground. And just one last key before we move on to the next step of this. I see so many of my in-person students and a couple of my online person students did this as well. As soon as they take this and try this movement out, they go way too quick. They stop here, okay? And that's no good because look what happens then. If we're stopping here, what's it encouraging us to do? Swing back on the inside. Yeah, we're getting that club face in a great position, but we're still then going to get this almost over the top steep downswing move to take place. We want to be ensuring we're going nice and slow and only stopping just at that point of where that alignment stick on the ground finishes. No further. We're just taking it back to that point there. So that's the first stage. And once you've got used to this, doing this 10 to 15, 20 times, how many it takes you just to get used to that feel. I don't want you hitting any shots doing this just yet, okay? I'm going to get you to take the alignment stick away. And for those of you who aren't too sure whether this is going to work or not, I want you to try this one little chipping swing doing this. So we've got the alignment stick, imagining it's on the lead side of the grip, okay? We're taking the club head back as normal to that point there, and we're just going to swing through. Nice and simple, having a couple of swings to that point there. So it's there, nice and through, nice and straight. Well, we're talking a yard to the right of my target. But if I was to get this open club face, even if I was to take the club head back on plane, let's just say we open the club face at this position here, and I just swing through, it goes well to the right. And that's going to give you a really good reference whether you're doing this right or wrong. Have a few videos of yourself just filming this and checking where that club face angle is. Where is the club head going? And if it feels like it's working more from the upper body to take this club head back, you're going to find that so much easier. That is the key. We're getting this move here, and then we're just swinging through as normal. After hitting a few chip shots doing that, getting used to this, trying to hit those straighter shots, we can start to implement stage 2. So going back to where the alignment stick was again, on the lead side of the grip, I want you to imagine you're continuing to do this motion up to this point here, where the club reaches the end of that alignment stick. We're still going to get to that point. And we mentioned earlier, we've gone on the inside, and then we've got too flat. So the danger now for us, the only danger, is getting the club to here and then going too far round. I actually had one of my junior students come in and see me the other day, and that's what he was doing. He was getting this point great, and then he would turn too far round. So I'm going to tell you a simple move now that you can do just to help you ensure you're setting the club on a more on-plane swing up to the top of the backswing. So we're going to set up, same feeling here for stage 1, okay? Up to the end of that alignment stick. For stage 2 now, the feeling is this club is going to go straight upwards. So I want you to imagine that there's a massive wall at this point here, okay, where this shaft is, the club shaft is, right? It's not going to be here, it's going to be there. So we've got to avoid that wall and allow this club to go straight upwards. What is that doing there? It's allowing my right arm, my trail arm, to fold upwards, as opposed to getting the trail elbow bending and folding backwards. When we bend this elbow backwards, that causes to drag the club and again get too flat at the top of the swing. So in simple terms, for stage 2, we're just going 1. We're folding this right arm upwards to the top of the swing. You will struggle to do this though if you have the right arm, the trail arm set very much so internally rotated, okay? So if you're setting up, you'll be able to do the first move right by the way of the takeaway. But if you're setting up with the trail arm where the elbow is facing away from us in this direction here, we can get this first move right, but I can't flex my right arm in the correct position to take this club head to the top of the swing. I end up getting very flat and round. If you find you're doing this, you get to this point, and then you're doing this motion here, just do this. Have your palm facing towards the ground. Then we're just going to rotate the arm all the way so that the palm is pointing towards the sky. And you can see there now my elbow is pointed towards my body. Now I'm going to move the wrist back on like so to grip the club. Now when we come to stage 2, so stage 1, stage 2, it's so much easier for me to fold this right arm, getting that club head to work along this wall, this imaginary wall from this shaft angle here, all the way up to the top of my swing. And it won't feel like you're doing a lot of rotation, and that's fine. You'll do the rotation during the actual swing itself when it comes to doing this all in one motion. So we've got those 2 checkpoints working our way up to the top of the backswing, and you're thinking now, well, how do we start that downswing? I need a thought for the downswing, and for a lot of you out there now, those 2 moves you can go away and practice, so feel free to go and practice those. But for those of you who really need that final checkpoint, that checkpoint that you can do to get that downswing working in your favour back to the golf ball, then all we want to be doing is allowing the club to form. Watch this here. When we get stuck and down into this position here, what am I doing? I'm forcing the club into position. For the downswing, we want the arms and shoulders dead relaxed. Yes, we're setting the club in positions using our arms, of course we are, but we want them nice and relaxed doing these motions, so that when it comes to the downswing, we're allowing the club to fall naturally. So watch this for me. I'm going to get this setting of the club working up to the top, and all I'm going to do is I'm going to let go using my right hand, okay? I'm going to allow the club to fall to the ground. As I'm doing this here, you can see I'm creating what we call an impulse, okay? An impulse where we're getting this little press into the ground and getting the force to react so that I can create this effortless speed taking place throughout my swing, this effortless power taking place throughout my swing. And a lot of you will think, well, it's difficult to hold the club in that position one hand, so simply grip down it. Just take the swing, have a few rehearsal drills, gripping the club down to the shaft, working it up, letting go, and allowing the club to form. So doing this with 2 hands now, just quickly before we finish. Stage 1, 2 up to the top, and just think of the right arm now as the guide, the trail arm just guiding the club to the ball. Lead arms just holding it in position. Allow the club to fall to the ground. No rigid swings. We're just going up to the top. Allow the club to fall to the ground, to fall naturally towards the golf ball. So the 3 things to take away from today's session are, number 1, ensuring we're getting that takeaway in the correct position. Club face wants to be almost pointing at the golf ball. FootJoy logo at the golf ball here. For stage 2, we're working it up to the top of the swing, folding that trail arm up to the top. And for 3, in simple terms, the downswing is allowing the club to fall. That one felt really nice. A little bit to the left is what I'm suffering with at the moment, but that's for other reasons. Good strike though. Let me see if I can do that again with a little bit more power on the downswing. Yeah, that was much better. So for those of you who would like a more in-depth explanation on the downswing, then feel free to click the video above here. And if you haven't done so already and you've come this far, you may as well smash that subscribe button so you stay tuned for more content like this coming out every single week. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.